which first off, French presses are dope because they pull out a lot of flavor in the coffee, a lot of like those oils. Feels kind of like a pretentious thing to use, but I digress. I like breakfast because breakfast is easy to make, but super open to modify. And it all kind of starts with ingredients. So we're just making a basic bacon, egg, and cheese. But the cool thing about this sandwich is that we're gonna be using brioche bread, which is more like a more eggy and a more milk-based bread, which means that you're gonna get a more sweet flavor, and it's gonna kind of cook and toast a little bit differently. I'm gonna use bacon, and there's nothing wrong with Oscar Mayer necessarily, or those brands of bacon, but I like using brands of bacon now that don't have the ingredient ascorbate in it. A lot of times they're able to like pump bacon with different fats and salts in order to kind of make it bigger. But this bacon is really cool because the fat that it really releases and stuff, it renders a lot more, which is more flavor. Eggs and sharp cheddar. So it's very, very simple to make, but the product is freaking... I actually like to pre-slice my bacon, and the reasoning is just because it's able to cook really fast. And even though this is slightly hard to cut in its raw stage, and it would be easier to cut it when it's cooked, I just kind of like the fat that's able to render out when I pre-cut it. I already know that I want it to be in bits, because like when you're eating a sandwich, if you take a bite and like a whole strip kind of comes out, then I feel like that just feels ununiform. During all this stuff, you have to make sure that you're washing your hands when you're dealing with raw meat, and then that you're washing the cutting board, you're washing all your utensils, you're just washing everything. So I'm gonna kind of let those have the marriage between pan and meat, bro. What am I saying? And then now I'll just prepare kind of the bread. Just kind of get ready. You can hear that bacon sizzling. This bread smells so sweet. Oh, and it's so good. So it's just so light. You can tell that it's a lot more buttery. After I cook the bacon, after I cook the eggs, I'm gonna put that in, and then we're gonna smash that down so that the flavor is just really retained into it, but it's gonna toast. So all this butter, all this flavor is gonna just seep into this egg, milky bread. Also, I'm gonna be using this hot jalapeno pepper jelly. So this is something they actually don't refrigerate. It kind of crystallizes if you do that, but it's also a nice savory sweet heat in order to, I don't know, everything's about balance. You want balanced flavor when you're eating any type of food. I think that makes the experience so much better. And they're looking ready. So even if they're not like fully done, I already see that the bubbles are forming on some of them. I think all the heat of them kind of forming together will even allow them to continue cooking as you allow them to rest a little bit. So yeah, this is good. So I only used, as you saw, 2 strips of bacon for this sandwich. If you want more bacon, use more strips. If you want less bacon, use less strips. It's pretty simple. So it's cool to use some of the residual bacon grease. So I don't really need butter or anything for the eggs. So I'm gonna use some of the bacon fat for the scrambled eggs, and then we're almost done with the sandwich. Get this guy back on. We're gonna start these eggs. I'm purposefully just kind of dropping it in nice and easy because I don't want the yolks to break just yet. I think the yolks are just a very natural and beautiful way to remake your eggs creamy, even when it seems like they're on the verge of just being dry. And basically see that these portions are still a little bit yellow. These portions are white, and it's starting to get, I mean, it still is jiggly, it still has mobility, but we're gonna break the egg yolks, and we're gonna kind of stir that in. And now, the parts that were basically just about to be done cooking are now covered in the yolks, which is really awesome. I kind of leave it like this patty, and I usually wait up until this stage to put the black pepper on, just so that you could taste it a little bit more, like a decent amount. And kind of push these parts in. So I'm gonna be cooking the bread in the same pan, so I'm just gonna try to get all the egg bits kind of away there. Cut it in half just to make it easier to flip. Yeah. Add a little bit of garlic powder too, just a tiny bit. Little dash. I don't know when it stopped recording, y'all. That's freaking annoying. But I'm at the end stages of it. So to summarize, I put the bottom part down, hot jalapeno jelly on there. Then I put the bacon on the hot jalapeno jelly, egg, cheese, so that it would stick together. You have to make sure that you watch it, just so that it doesn't burn. But it's getting a lot of delicious flavor here. And then we're about to be ready. So it's toasted so well. It just looks cool. So the top of it just has a good, nice brown color. Because like I said, it's like a sweet bread. So like the contents of it are able to cook kind of fast. Cut it like so. Bruh, that plating is okay. It is okay. You can just eat it as is. Add a little bit of syrup, do what you will, and you're good to go. Look at this. I'll try to get into the camera at this terrible angle. Fire, bro. Fire.